Hey everyone, PC Casual Gaming Dad here, and today I'm back and I have a video that I've been holding off on making because instead of playing through the game on stream, especially considering I've been having internet issues and whatnot lately, which I hope will be resolved here in the next couple of weeks as I transition to, well, back to my house in California. Nonetheless, I played this game now for over 30 hours. It's probably more like 35. I'll show you here on Steam. It says about 45 hours, but in actuality, just over, a little over 10. So I think under 11, but over 10 hours of that was in early access. Okay, so do the math. So we're looking at about 35 hours. So I just put 30 plus, right, to make it simple. But here we are, and I'm gonna give my thoughts, and I'll also be making another video once I finish the game. My first playthrough, I have not. The game is supposedly around 60 hours. I can say that I recently finished Act 2. I've only done one main story mission since then. And there's 4 acts in the game, and they're all supposed to be about 15-ish hours, so it appears to be pretty relatively accurate. And I've been doing every single quest and mission in the game, so just to give you a perspective. So it seems to be relatively accurate that that's what it is. So anyways, let's get to it. Let's talk about the game. Of course, if you're watching this, you should expect some spoilers and whatnot. You're gonna see that I have a whole list of champions here. I've dismissed a few too as well because you just don't have the space for all of them. So let's go to the first thing. If you recall, if you've seen my other videos on the game, I started the game on the normal difficulty, so I'm not doing the roguelike mode, so I can do saves and whatnot while I'm in a mission. I don't typically utilize that feature. I've only done it a couple of times, mainly because I had to stop playing for whatever reason. So normally I play through an entire mission and the game saves, so I don't really utilize that piece. But I want to just start, even though I am a big fan of tactical strategy and I'm pretty good, you know, from experience, right? Just figured, let me start the game. I can always increase the difficulty from there. The last thing I wanted was to get like really frustrated with the game. For someone who's a seasoned tactical strategy, RPG based gamer, I can say that the difficulty is, it's fine at normal. A lot of fights were really easy, especially once I got my characters up about 5 or 6 levels. But then, I mean, look at this, lo and behold, like, first time ever, Sir Mordred, my stacked character, he got quite a bit of vitality damage on this last mission and injured. So he's gonna be healing for the next 2 missions, unfortunately for me, because I've come to kind of rely on him as being a tank and taking damage and doing hits, and honestly, he's a killer too. He's remarkable, at least the way that I've built him, you know. I'm not gonna go too much into that, you know, because I'll just show you Mordred, right? You can make all these characters however you will, right? But I chose to make him pretty tanky. He's got his stigma upgraded, his unyielding, so he heals. Flurry's great for when he's surrounded. And then just really focus on different essences and gear pieces to make him just beefy. And as you can see, you know, he's pretty stacked for the most part. When he attacks here, it says the first basic, it's like your weapons can make or break everything. So he gets a free attack every turn. When I hit them, they get taunted. He also gains AP. Where is it? I think there was something that he was wearing. Yeah, he gains movement AP for each kill, so he can kill and then move and then attack again. And he's just a slaughterhouse. This guy is ridiculous. Yeah. But there's all these different classes. Lady Dindrain is probably one of my favorites. She's remarkable how powerful she is. So, you know, it's just the way you build it. There's so many different ways to play and whatnot. But let's go to the crypt. Haven't lost anybody yet. Okay, haven't lost anybody. I will say that a few missions ago, I did get very close. It actually almost happened. I was very worried. Sir Balin here, who's my main DPS guy, is him and Dindrain. He's my melee sneaker. He hides and goes and backstabs and does tons of damage. Yeah, I wasn't careful enough with him. I left him unhidden, and he got clobbered and almost went down. He was down to like, I don't know, 15, 20 vitality, so I had to heal him for a couple of rounds as well. So, but I haven't lost anybody yet. Let's go to the round table. So you see I have no aspirant heroes because I've just dismissed them. People that I just really am not going to use. I could probably, honestly, probably dismiss the White Knight. You know, I mean, I haven't really used him that much. But I keep training up people in case I need to use them for various reasons. You know, and there's a lot of reasons to utilize them in this game, right? So I've spent quite a bit into these slots here. I can have multiple laws passed at the same time. I have a few different decrees, lots of court titles now. So that's pretty interesting. And all these things unlock as the game goes. When I started here, I think I only had 1 or 2 titles here, and so these add. And what it does is it adds loyalty for characters, right? And modifiers. The Cathedral, right? This is where you heal injuries. That's where Sir Mordred is right now. I haven't felt the need to upgrade this more just because I haven't really been getting injured. It's only happened like twice. So I think in higher difficulties, you'd probably have to spend a little money here. But truthfully here, I haven't. So, but there's so many different ways to play the game. So I'd leave it up to y'all. Okay. The Merchant, right? I've done some upgrades here, better quality items. You could do this for, I don't know, this seems like a lot of resources for one armor. I didn't really feel the need to, but a lot of times you can buy some pretty decent stuff from here, and you're always going to restock in your potions. Don't be afraid to use them. They're very, very helpful, and not just the health potions. These damage ones, the AP one is pretty insane. Might as well be more damage, especially if you have characters that can do tons of damage, like Sir Balin, right? Okay, let's see. Let's go to the training grounds, right? I'm just showing everyone this. The training grounds I felt was the most useful because you only take 4 heroes with you, and sometimes you'll have a mission to send a hero on. So when you have a full stack of heroes and you just want to be leveling them up, this is probably the greatest investment you can make, right? So unlock all 4 slots, +1 for champion defender skill point to marksman and vanguard, so I upgraded all of those. Training 10% more, again I did that early on so they get more EXP, permanent HP, and more permanent HP. So I felt like those were really, you could see I completely went all in on the training grounds. That's just my play style. I like to have strong characters and whatnot. At the hospice, also didn't really feel the need to invest much because again, same as the cathedral. Didn't have a lot of injuries and healing to do most of the time, you know, so didn't feel like I needed to do that. But again, higher difficulties you may. And I think in another playthrough, probably would have to do that. The Enchanted Tower, this is a place where you can buy relics, some of the most powerful items in the game, no doubt, that are geared towards specific characters. Of course, relic dust is hard to come by, so you do get some eventually after every mission, and I highly recommend putting someone here because it'll give, while appointed as Master of Magic in the Enchanted Tower, grants 120 relic dust after each mission and increases 10 per level, right? So if you want to get that, like look at this, 15% chance to do double damage. Look at this damage. Holy smokes, I wish I could afford this right now actually. That would be crazy. Even though I get an extra attack, that amount of damage is absurd, right? 3 weapon damage, 3 max damage. Wow. That would be something, I did not see that there. That's really good, see what I mean? Like, there's some really, really powerful items here. Look at this, that hex intensity, wow. That is a lot. -1 cooldown for fire, see, okay. So here, I think here, I didn't upgrade anything, refreshes more. This could be something good, but I'd have to upgrade the caravan as well. +1 skill point. Sure, that's not bad. But I mean, I don't even use my Arcanists or Sages every single mission, so I'm not so sure about that. There's a lot of different character classes in the game. We have the defenders, which you should probably always have at least one defender to be tanky, right? Mordred's a great choice. And you do have to use Mordred in a lot of missions because it's part of the story, so you don't have to in every mission, but a lot of the story missions you do. So I highly recommend using Mordred. You can build him in any way you want. Even here you can see there's lots of ways you can make him like champion-like. You can give him magic, right? There's blocking. I mean, there's just so many ways to beef him up, you know. I like a ranged class, right? Lady Dindrain's the first marksman you get. There's multiple others I got, including Sir Bors, and I believe one other that I dismissed. You got champions. They're great for both taking a little bit of damage and doing big swings. You know, Sir Kay, I have him for sweeping and cleaving, and Sir Balin is just for kind of one big hit, all-in attack on an individual unit. And then Sir Ector's the first Arcanist you get. He's got some really powerful magic and hexes that he can utilize. Sages are great for boosting allies, right? Lady Guinevere is one of the ones you get. Spoiler alert, there is Merlin in the game. Surprise, surprise, right? Sir Percival. There's a lot of references to different religious figures and whatnot. Let's go to the morality chart. Let's talk about that. Okay, so it keeps track of all the events that happen in the game. And so as you can see, I decided to go with Christian and Rightful. So it shows here I am 14 Rightful and 11 Christian. I have unlocked a mission for Sir Lancelot. That is actually one of the ones that I really wanted to unlock. I haven't done the mission yet though. It's a level 14 mission, so I'm not quite ready for that one yet. But you can see that as you advance, different things unlock. And there's all these other things on this side that I can't get because I am going to be Christian versus Old Faith, and then here as well. So there's so many directions you could take, right? So you could technically play this game 4 different ways, well, even more than 4. You don't even have to be right. You can do neutral. You don't have to be Tyrant or Rightful. You could be neutral and just head in one direction versus the other. So there's multiple ways. There's at least 8 ways to play the game, but personally I like to do a little bit of both, right? So in this case I wanted to do, I think Sir Lancelot was kind of one of my motivating factors, but generally speaking I am a Rightful or Paragon type player. I think it would be interesting to do a Tyrant playthrough, and I think Old Faith, sure, that's fine, right? There's different laws, there's different decrees you can unlock, right? Look at this, double EXP from events. Wow, that would be really nice. Whereas here I get, you know, a skill point to all Rightful or Christian heroes. That would be really nice, right? Extra gold for being a Tyrant, right? I mean, things that kind of like make sense, right? So as far as complexity goes and, you know, choice mattering, only to an extent, right? It's not going to make or break the game, right? It's just really about your playstyle and what you'd rather have. So I think as far as that goes, they did a really great job with this morality chart. Do I spend a lot of time looking at each individual thing and wondering, oh, maybe I should have done that? No, not necessarily. I didn't not on my first playthrough. I looked through some things. You know, you don't really know much about them ahead of time, so it may or may not necessarily, I guess, help you make a decision about what you want to do. I say just play how you want to play, and you know, you're going to get benefits from playing in a certain direction, no matter which way you do it. So, ooh, the Red Knight. That could be a reason to go. Look at that guy. He looks like a beast. Okay, so I've covered all of this. Let's go outside Camelot to the adventure map. So you can see the map's pretty big. I'll zoom out as much as I can, right? These are side quests. The purple ones are side quests. I encourage everyone to do all of them to get the most out of the game, and also explore every corner of the maps that you do go in, because you'll be surprised. There is a lot of hidden things. They purposefully hide things in various corners of the map or in just random spots. because they want to encourage exploration, and I love that. I actually really do. The voiceovers are great for the game. The story is quite interesting, whether you know much about Arthur, if you've read The Once and Future King. Regardless of what you know, the story is very interesting, intriguing, it pulls you in. It doesn't spend a lot of time going in depth, I'll say, for like specific characters. There's going to be certain missions where there are things related to goals for them. So in that respect, it's not super deep. Mordred probably gets the most because he's the main character, the main protagonist, right? So it makes sense, as well as, you know, the Lady of the Lake and other characters you run across in the game, but it's definitely has enough depth in that respect. The story is pretty interesting so far. It does make me want to know what's going on, so I'll give it a thumbs up for that. The combat is excellent. It reminds me a lot of games like XCOM or Divinity, right? Although it doesn't have, one of the things Divinity has that stands out is Divinity has the environment which you can impact, right? But you can light a barrel on fire and then the floor becomes lit up and they'll take burning damage. So it doesn't have anything like that. So it's not super in-depth in that respect, but it does have things like cover and whatnot. So that is, it's definitely more XCOM-like in that respect. I encourage you to look at some of my other videos for some more gameplay of me actually doing battles, if you'd like, when I started playing the game. So you can see a little bit more of that. But it's really interesting how different skills and things unlock, and you kind of just find out what you prefer. Like with Mordred, I like to use shield charge, to charge in, get closer to enemies, and then be in the swing of things, take damage and whatnot, weaken them, regain health for doing hits, use flurry, right? And it's a very simple playstyle, but it's really effective for a champion, for someone who's really supposed to take hits, who's got a good block chance and whatnot. So you just kind of figure out what you want to do. So I'll show Lady Dindrain, right? I decided, she came with both poison and fire. I decided to invest a little bit in each, right? Because sometimes on boss units it's really good. Otherwise, I have her just doing regular attacks and whatnot. And I gotta tell you, she is ridiculous. I mean, seriously. Where is it? There's an item. Oh yeah, this one, shoot hits, this is a relic. Another random enemy for 50% weapon damage within 5 tiles of the original target. This makes shoot seriously busted. I mean, it's so good. Every time she shoots, she's getting in an extra hit, plus armor. I mean, she does so much damage, like on first hits, it's crazy. Even on turn 0, when it's my turn, you know, I'll sometimes kill units flat out, especially weaker ones. So she's great, you know. And you just figure out which characters. I haven't felt the need to use much more than like my original, these first 6 here. I do use some of the others from time to time, and I have others that I've dismissed. I just ultimately ended up removing them because I didn't use them for whatever reason, or I just didn't feel like you kind of invest a lot into the others, it's just time. And you get a little bit attached, right? So that's why it's fine. So like, I thought about using the White Knight since he's pretty cool looking and he has this pretty good ability called Blessed Weapon, which makes him do more damage, instead of one of my other champions, right? But Sir Kay's been there for me since the beginning, so I'm loyal to him, and he's clearly very loyal to me. And speaking of loyalty, right, you can see the more loyal, the more time you spend with the character, the game encourages you to do that, because you get to a certain point, you get past 3, you get 10% more damage, and then 10% here, and then you get an extra action point for being extremely faithful, right? 20% damage and 1 AP. So I think Lady Dindrain, see, look at all those action points she has. Earlier in the game, I think she had 6 or 7, right? So really, really good. And so other characters like Merlin, that I haven't had him as long, and he came disloyal to me. I mean, he's not minus damage, but he was close at one point, so well, he's close now, you know. So the game really encourages you to use characters you've been using. So And I'm fine with that, but you can certainly switch it up and, increase their loyalty through, things in Camelot, right? Like you could just go to the round table, put them in the various titles that increase their loyalty. So, there's so many ways to play this game. I find it very fun and very interesting. It's the kind of game that you can pick up for an hour or two and play a mission or two, or you can sit down and play for hours. It's really up to you. I don't particularly usually sit down and play for hours and hours like I used to, so usually for me it's 1 to 2 hours at a time. Sometimes if I have more time on that day, I can come back to it later in the day. But generally speaking, that's what I do, and I think that's great that you can pick it up, do a mission or two, and get a lot of satisfaction out of the game. So overall, my thoughts are the following. The game's combat is very engaging, very interesting, very tactical, rewards skill very much. I've personally felt like my skill, my experience with past tactical strategy games is very much rewarded in this kind of game, and I've performed very well. With the exception of Sir Mordred in this last mission, right? But generally speaking, yes, rewards skill, so I do like that about the game. The characters and the story is very interesting, very engaging. It's very dark, right? It's very grim. I still don't know everything that's happened. Like I said, I finished Act 2 of 4 recently, so there's quite a bit in the game. It's definitely got lots to do. Replayability seems pretty high, right? If you enjoy the gameplay, you can always replay a mission if you want, right? You can reset and reload and replay if you like that, or you can just play through the game. If you like roguelike, you certainly can do that. It does start in the hard difficulty, so a little bit higher than the normal that I've been playing, which I think next time is what I would do. That's probably what I would do. I imagine that and then there's a difficulty that's higher than that. I forgot the name, it escapes me, but I imagine if you like to really challenge yourself, that this is a game where you certainly can do that. The skill trees, the customization is quite in depth. It allows for multiple play styles through multiple playthroughs. You can certainly play Mordred differently if you wanted to. I find that really great and very interesting, and there is a little bit of repetitiveness at times. See, like look at this, 10% vitality, 10% HP, 10% vitality. So there's a little bit there, but really I think it's fine and it makes sense given the character. It's not too repetitive where you're seeing things all the time across characters and different classes, right? There is uniqueness to each character. Mordred's got the shield charge and this stigma that other characters don't have, right? The White Knight has the blessed weapon as well as the cleave, and the others you can see these champions have. I guess I ended up showing. He's got a defensive stance. He has this other death strike, which I didn't find that interesting or useful, right? So there's enough uniqueness to each character that makes you kind of become attached and loyal to them, and throughout the game. So I find that pretty interesting, and overall it's a great game. I'm really enjoying it. If you like tactical strategy, if you liked XCOM or Divinity type style battles, right? Again, not exactly the same as Divinity, more like XCOM, and you like this type of universe, right? Maybe you're less of a sci-fi guy like me, and you're more of a fantasy, in this case dark fantasy. You're probably going to really enjoy this game. You probably will. And it doesn't feel overwhelming at any point, as far as the story or the customization. It's not Path of Exile where it's just this giant thing where if you don't get it right, you're going to fail. No, not at all. This is my first time. I didn't look up any guides, didn't do anything. I learned it all on my own, and I've had great success, on just the regular difficulty. And otherwise, it's great, Resources, I think I forgot to talk about those, but you get those after every mission, and there's lots of ways to spend them, and I never felt like I was really starved for it, I was using them up, as you can see, I don't have a lot of gold and stuff, but Not so much where, oh man, it just feels like really grindy. Not at all. Not grindy at all. You have to make meaningful decisions and use your resources well and for whatever you decide, and the game rewards you for that. So, I mean, I think they really nailed it. I think they really nailed it with this type of game. You know, as an avid tactical strategy player, it's probably my favorite type of game. That neck and neck with RPGs. So this game mixes both of them together. That's probably why I like it so much, right? Same with Divinity, but this game's great. I mean, I'd give it a solid 8.5 out of 10, honestly. I do like Divinity a bit more, especially Original Sin 2. That game's like a 9.5, 10 for me. I just love that game so much. Beautiful game, brilliantly done, voiceovers, so much depth, so much choice. I mean, just, yeah, anyways, this is not about Divinity, right? Whereas like a game like XCOM for me was probably like an 8, you know? I'm a little bit less into the sci-fi, and there was a little bit more of a little frustration point in that game at times. I'm talking about Enemy Within. Is that the one? Yeah. I haven't played XCOM 2 yet, but I'll probably get to that eventually. Anyways, you know, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you found this meaningful for you. If you decide to give the game a try, you know, leave a thumbs up, you know, leave a comment. Let me know how you like the game. And, you know, Neocore, you know, my hat's off to you. This is a great game. I'm very happy that I backed this game on Kickstarter, and, you know, you never know what you're going to get with these things, but, you know, they had some delays and whatnot, and some times where the communication could have been better with the community on Discord, but ultimately the game turned out really well. They did lots of fixes right from the get-go. Game hardly crashes ever. I haven't had many issues, and so it's great. It's pretty well polished. Great job. All right. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.